Until last month, federal regulators have logged 1,331 crashes involving Waymo's autonomous vehicles. That's not a typo. Over 1,300 incidents. And here's what makes our blood run cold. Just 2 months before, Waymo's co-CEO, Tekedra Mawakana, stood on stage at TechCrunch Disrupt and said something shocking. When asked if society would accept a death caused by a robotaxi, she answered, "I think that society will." Then she added the quiet part out loud. "We don't say whether, we say when, and we plan for them." Not too long later, that when became reality. 27-year-old Mikhael Romanenko and his dog were killed in a multi-vehicle crash in San Francisco, a crash that involved a Waymo. This is the story they're not telling us. Let's start with what Waymo tells us. According to their safety hub, they've driven 127 million rider-only miles through September 2025. They claim an 80% reduction in injury-causing crashes compared to human drivers. Sounds impressive, right? Here's what they're not telling us. Between 2021 and 2024, NHTSA logged 696 Waymo crashes. That's nearly 700 incidents in just 4 years. Then, in 2025 alone, just through August, another 464 incidents were reported. That brings the total to 1,331 crashes involving Waymo vehicles. Here's where it gets darker. Those 2025 crashes resulted in 1 fatality, 1 serious injury, 2 moderate injuries, and 28 minor injuries. But wait, there's a programming error that makes this even more suspicious. When journalist Timothy B. Lee analyzed Waymo's raw data submitted to federal regulators, he found something disturbing. Waymo had told him there were 16 injury crashes, but the actual NHTSA data showed 18, including injuries Waymo had classified as unknown. Waymo blamed it on a coding error. They said they hadn't updated their software to count crashes in the new moderate injury category. Let's be clear, this is a company that builds self-driving cars using artificial intelligence, and they're telling us their own crash counting software had a bug that underreported injuries? The question we need to ask, what else isn't being counted correctly? Now here's something even more troubling. Between 2021 and 2024, there were 47 reported injuries from Waymo crashes, 3 serious, 6 moderate, and 38 minor. But look at the geographic distribution. California accounts for the overwhelming majority of these incidents, and that makes sense since California is where Waymo has over 120 square miles of operating territory in Los Angeles County alone. Areas like Pasadena, San Fernando Valley, and downtown San Francisco have seen a concentration of collisions, particularly during late afternoon and early evening hours, exactly when human traffic is heaviest. Think about that. These vehicles are struggling most during the times when roads are most crowded, when human judgment and split-second decision-making matter most. January 19, 2025, 6th and Harrison Streets in San Francisco's south of the Market neighborhood, 6:08 p.m. A Tesla traveling at approximately 98 miles per hour slammed into vehicle stopped at a red light. 7 cars were mangled, 8 victims. The San Francisco Fire Department called it a mass casualty event. Among the destroyed vehicles, an unoccupied Waymo, its rear end completely ripped off. Mikhael Romanenko, 27 years old, was pronounced dead at the scene. His dog died with him. Now, here's what makes this the most significant crash in autonomous vehicle history. This marked the first time in the United States that a truly autonomous vehicle with no one in the driver's seat has been involved in a fatal collision. Waymo immediately released a statement claiming the vehicle was struck behind by a vehicle that was impacted by another vehicle traveling at an extreme rate of speed. Technically not at fault, but here's what we're not being told. The Waymo was part of the chain reaction. It was hit. It hit other vehicles, and someone died. This is exactly what Tekedra Mawakana predicted 2 months earlier. She knew this was coming. Her exact words at TechCrunch Disrupt were, "We really worry as a company about those days. You know, we don't say whether, we say when, and we plan for them." They expected it, and now it's happened. And here's what should terrify us even more. Authorities detained the Tesla driver, 66-year-old J.L. Zhang, on felony vehicular manslaughter charges. But the California Highway Patrol was also investigating hit-and-run crashes that occurred on Interstate 280 just moments before this collision. This wasn't just a tragic accident. This was a high-speed chain of destruction, and a Waymo was right in the middle of it, unable to take evasive action, unable to predict what a human might have anticipated. Arizona's Family Investigates spent 6 months collecting police reports on Waymo crashes in Phoenix, Scottsdale, Chandler, Mesa, and Tempe. What they found should terrify us all. Of 71 police-documented crashes, officers determined the Waymo was not at fault 87% of the time. But here's the catch. In cases where Waymo was at fault, officers couldn't issue citations. In 2021, a Waymo rear-ended Joel Kaspers at 30 miles per hour, totaling his car and knocking him into an intersection. The investigating officer wrote, "At this time, the Waymo was not issued a citation since the Waymo was in autonomous mode and no person was inside the vehicle at the time of the crash." No person inside, no citation, no accountability. In October 2024, a Waymo crossed the double yellow line and struck Jaffer Yassin's vehicle in Old Town Scottsdale. When asked if a human driver would have done this, Yassin replied, "Of course not, especially in a crowded situation like this. I'm gonna call it reckless." But there's no legal mechanism to cite an AI for reckless driving. Current law requires a driver to issue a citation to. No driver, no ticket. Federal crash data shows that between 2021 and 2024, there were at least 202 crashes involving Waymo vehicles in Arizona alone. These ranged from minor scrapes to 31 crashes that resulted in injuries. But here's the problem. The NHTSA records are heavily redacted and do not indicate who was at fault in most cases. We're being asked to trust a system where the data is incomplete, the liability is unclear, and the accountability is non-existent. This isn't a bug in the system, it's a feature. Waymo operates in a legal gray zone where accountability simply doesn't exist. While we've been learning about these crashes, Waymo hasn't pumped the brakes, they've hit the accelerator. As of November 2025, Waymo announced fully autonomous rider-only operations in 5 new cities: Miami, Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, and Orlando. They're operating in 8 cities now, over 250,000 paid rides per week, more than 1 million miles driven monthly. Federal regulators opened an investigation in 2025 specifically because Waymo's system has surpassed 100 million miles and accumulates approximately 2 million miles per week. That's not oversight, that's catch-up. NHTSA is investigating after Waymo has already flooded streets with autonomous vehicles that can't be held accountable when they cause crashes. And remember, all of this is happening while Waymo's co-CEO openly admits fatalities are inevitable, not just possible, inevitable. When, not if. The Atlanta-based Witherite Law Group, one of the nation's leading firms representing vehicular collision victims, issued a scathing statement after Mawakana's comments. When the top executive of a company deploying autonomous vehicles says society will accept fatalities, that reveals a corporate culture where financial incentive and speed to market have overtaken public safety obligations. And they asked the question Waymo won't answer. Can Waymo prove its software meets a higher safety standard than human drivers in every scenario, including those involving children, emergency vehicles, and school zones? We're not getting that answer. Instead, we're getting expansion into more cities. So here's where we stand. 1,331 crashes logged by NHTSA, 1 death in January 2025, no legal mechanism to hold autonomous vehicles accountable when they cause crashes, and a CEO who told us months in advance that deaths were coming, that they're planning for them, and society will just accept it. The data is public, the crashes are documented, the expansion is happening right now in cities across America. They're not asking for our permission, they're betting we won't pay attention. Mikhael Romanenko was 27 years old. He had his whole life ahead of him. His death is now a footnote in the autonomous vehicle revolution. The question isn't whether autonomous vehicles are safer than human drivers. The question is, who decides what level of death is acceptable? And why are we letting companies with billions in funding make that decision without our input? Drop a comment below. Are you